What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Ondo today at the request of Christopher Tenerife, I think is how you pronounce it, or Tenerife. One of those. It's got to be one of those, man. Hit the like button, subscribe, you guys. Thank you all for being here. Let's get into it. Okay, let's talk about this thing right now. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. Ondo. Yes, Ondo's shilling. How long has it been since we talked about Ondo? When was the last video that I made on Ondo? It's been a little while. Yeah, February 7th, man. Been over a month. Ondo, well, haven't really done anything too exciting, too notable worth talking about, have you, since February 7th? And that's okay. Most cryptos haven't, man. Most of them have moved down a lot. You know, this looks like the average altcoin to me. The average altcoin back here in November, December had a pump, and they are back basically not at those lows, but around those lows from whenever they pumped from. So yeah, you're just doing about the same thing as the average coin. I wouldn't worry about it too much. I wonder, did you drop more than the average coin though? Looks like you did. Yeah, 65% is a little bit above average, but you probably, as a result, pumped more than the average coin. Yes, you did too. So that's hand in hand with it, right? You pump more, you dump more. That's kind of how it is most of the time. If you look at this from a high to a low, here, hit your 1272, and then instead of showing productive behavior, instead of bouncing here, hold on, guys. Instead of showing productive behavior, you actually started showing unproductive, deconstructive behavior, finding resistance, finding lower areas of support and lower areas of resistance coming down. You are at the 382, and it's pretty damn common to find support down here or at the 236. I have a problem though seeing you go to the, oh wait, maybe I don't. I thought that would be a bigger move, but yeah, 23%. That actually could happen. I guess that's the call for now. You're at 83.6 cents. Maybe you drop down to 64.7 cents. I could see that happening because I expect the average altcoin to drop about 20% to 25%, and that's right in the middle of that range there. And it's very common when you hit the extensions and you do see these deep retracements below the golden ratio. If you are to remain bullish, if you are to see a new all-time high, and we're assuming that Ondo is not in the dumps and that it's not going to go to zero, then you would look for support here at about 65 cents. Yeah, prior areas of support here. You slipped a little bit, but we're going to count the main areas of support here on this 3-day time frame. Support here, support back here, and resistance right here. It's a perfect area, guys. It's really a perfect area. This is a perfect area to find support too, and it's completely possible that Ondo does find support and stop going lower. Let's think about that. Let's analyze that a little bit. Let's see. You know, I personally don't think that you're done going lower. I do think you're going lower just based on the way this consolidation phase looks inside this price action area here. You know, here, for example, whenever you were moving down, you see the low that you actually had was like this, right? It was a big wick low. And then here, whenever you found your low, you started moving up. You weren't really consolidating. You started getting more productive. Here, whenever you moved up, it was more productive. Where here, you're not really being productive at all. You're just consolidating. Why are you consolidating? Because you're probably going to move lower and continue the trend. The daily RSI sucks. It is lower high after lower high after lower high, lower lows, all that stuff. You're going to get into the oversold zone, bro. Something just like that's going to happen. That's probably what I would expect. I want you to understand, I don't think Ondo sucks just because the daily RSI sucks. People get really defensive about their coins anytime they hear anything negative about them. I'm not being negative. I guess I am being negative, but I'm bullish on Ondo. I think Ondo will do well. Ondo's got a lot of good things going for it. It's just the rest of the market's in the dumps right now. It's nothing personal, Ondo. You know, this could be any coin, and it's probably, it looks the exact same as the rest of them as far as the RSI goes. All their RSIs suck on the day. The coins that I hold the most of, their RSIs suck on the daily, right? I'm not talking smack about this thing. I'm just saying. I'm just using the actual words here. You know, I mean what I say, but not what you might think I mean, right? I mean what I say, not what you mean that I say. Does that make any sense? You found support here, back at the 1618, finding resistance, turbulent, straight disrespect of this here. Yeah, likely the next area is, boom, right there, 65 cents. You know, it's very common with the 2272, and it's very common to see this kind of stair-stepping behavior in the extensions. What's very common with this area here is to go a little bit below it. What is a little bit below that 2272? What's a little bit below? I'm glad you asked. From a high to a low, the oh wait, was it that one? Was it? Oh, no. I'm sorry. I'm drawing the wrong extension. Let's see here. We want the high to low of this because we got, that's right. That's what it was. Yeah. This, the 236 is all the way right here, and it's just below the 2272. So yeah, I really do think that you're going to see 65 to 64 cents, somewhere in that area. You're at 83 cents now. Very convinced of that. Weekly RSI looks like it wants to go down. Daily RSI looks like it wants to go down. Looking at the 4-hour time frame, neutral, relatively neutral. I suppose you can move up for now. You don't have to move down immediately. It's going to happen. You know, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. And I think it's rather obvious. I mean, if we look at this here, I like to think of it in simple terms sometimes, right? This is what you did whenever you found resistance. Boom. This is what you did when you found support. Boom. 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 Very tradable range in all fairness. But do you notice how it's like very volatile? And then once you found support down here, now you're doing something different. Does this look more bullish or less bullish? To me, it looks less bullish. You're at the base of this range, grinding it out. Different behavior begets different results, right? Or a continuation of the same result, whatever, but just not to the upside. It doesn't have to be more complicated than that, man. It really doesn't have to be more complicated than that at all. All you're doing is finding resistance time and time again at prior areas of support, right? And then if you notice, you did the same exact thing back here, you guys. Exactly the same thing. Support, boom. Resistance, boom. Support, boom. Resistance, boom. All the way up, boom. Actually, here, let's take this back. Look, right here, you went all the way up. What did you do? You did something different. And what did you do? You continued to run. Huh? Kind of interesting, right? It can be that simple sometimes. Not always. It's not that simple always, okay? Don't think you know what you're doing just because of that, okay? But sometimes it can be that simple. All the way down, boom. All the way up, boom. All the way down. What did we do down here? Oh, we consolidated. We didn't find immediate support, so we, boom, went down, right? I'm just saying it's rather obvious to me. I think that we are going to go down. Okay, that's all I'm trying to say. Now let's talk about the upside. Let's do that. And by the way, we're at 83.7 cents now. You could absolutely move up more. Perhaps you do move up to 85 cents, 86 cents. Maybe you do move all the way up to about 87 cents, 87 and a half cents. Something like that could happen before you continue to drop. But I do think you're going to drop. I think it's inevitable at this point. Let's talk about the upside, okay? Upside is Ondo, because it's down so much, has a lot of room to grow. It's an opportunity to buy more. If we're looking at Ondo here, that's not right. This thing isn't at 17 cents, is it? No way. Did it come back up? I thought it dropped. Sorry, I'm just making sure because I was looking at that and I thought that it did drop. I hold some, so if it came back up, that's great, but I'm pretty sure it dropped. Anyways, Ondo here, market cap wise, is at a $2.6 billion market cap, $62 million in volume, right? That's actually not that high a volume, but that's okay, right? Having low volume on your drops and stuff like that in boring times, that's kind of to be expected, I guess. 2.6 billion though, with the absolute possibility to go lower. Yeah, see, it did drop. I thought it dropped. If we're looking at this here, and it goes to where I think it's going to go. Pretty confident it does too. Let's just say it's on the upper end of 65. 22% down, 22% from 2.6 billion. What is that? That's an extra 320, basically $320 million down. So let's say it's like at a 2.15 billion dollar market cap, something like that. Okay, 2.15 billion at the low. If you have that kind of market cap at the low, 2.15 billion, is Ondo 100xable this cycle? My answer is no. It's not 100xable. Unfortunately, no, it's not. And for some people, they're like, okay, well, I never expected 100x out of this thing, so that's fine. Good. I like to look for 100x's. That doesn't mean that they will happen, but I like to look for them. We're in cryptocurrency. After all, it happens every damn cycle. Why wouldn't you look for them? But on the bright side, Ondo is probably a safer bet than a lot of coins that do have 100x potential anyways. It probably is a safer bet. But is it 100xable? No, because here's my logic, right? It's not even 50xable at that price, because being at 2.15 billion, 50x would imply that you see an over $100 billion market cap. And while that is possible, it can happen. It likely doesn't. There's only two coins, and they're not Bitcoin, two coins that have seen $100 billion market caps in their first cycle. The first one, Ethereum. The second one, XRP. Those are the only two that have seen $100 billion market caps in their first cycle. Is Ondo the next XRP or Ethereum? I don't know. I know it might have strived to be, aspired to be, but no, probably not. Most cryptos aren't. It's only happened twice. Out of the tens of thousands, millions of coins now, including meme coins and stuff like that, right? Just no, it's probably not going to happen. So $100 billion market cap or higher, we can throw that out the window, right? So that's already a 50x is out the door. 2.15 billion. If we did a 40x on that, that is 83 billion, right? That'd be 83 billion. Is that right? No, it'd be 86 billion, something like that. That's like the upper limits of what I could see happening. Okay, so 40 billion. And I'm just using math here from my experience in the markets. This is my third bull market, and so whenever it comes to cryptos attaining their highest market caps possible in their first cycle, Oftentimes, you know, if you're on the upper ends, like the upper ends, what is the upper threshold of market cap valuations that you can see a crypto see in its first cycle? It can be anything from like 20 billion to 80 billion dollars. It's a very big range. Maybe even for, depending if you come from lower, it could be like 1 billion to 10 billion. But right, these are the upper ends. So 20 to 80 billion. An 80 billion market cap, just above their 86 billion, would be at about a 60, or no, I'm sorry, a 40x from here. No, 40x from the low, right? 40x from the low, my bad. If we put that low in there and we were to do a 40x, that puts you at about, right about, that's not a 40x, it's a 41x, but whatever. Right about 25 bucks probably, right? Let's see if that lines up with anything here. From a high, we don't have the low, so it might not be appropriate. Let's actually take this high to low, because I'm just guessing where that low is going to be, right? We're guessing. So I want to try and be appropriate here. Look at that, all the way up to the 3618, 3786 area. Yeah, I could see it happening. $25 though, I like that more. I think that you probably do see a $25 price as your given maximum. I don't, let me rephrase that. I don't think you see it, but I think you could see it. That's your given maximum. At a minimum, I would think this thing does break through $20 billion, right? Which would be a 10x from that low. A 10x is here at about $6.60, and that's very possible as well. With the 2272, you can just go right above it. Right above it. It's very common to go right above it. So, unfortunately, it's a very big range. Hold on. On the low end of that range, we have about $6.60, the 666 area. On the high end, we have about $25, a little bit over $25, okay? Likely, you don't stop at the low end. Likely, you don't stop at the high end. You probably stop somewhere in between. So where's that in between going to take you? It could be anything from a 13x at the lows, not at the current price. It could be anything from a 17, 18x at, from the lows, not the current price, or a 22x from the lows, not at the current price, right? So unfortunately, guys, and I like Ondo. I do think it has a lot of potential, and I think it's a safe bet. But unfortunately, this doth not butter any parsnips, as I forget what that comedian's name is. It's not that enticing, not to me, not as a crypto investor, and I'll tell you why. Okay, I'm expecting that the average altcoin sees more growth than that. Even what I would expect is on the upper ends of growth here. If we're looking at a high to a low, this is not what I'm anticipating the average altcoin will do at a maximum. This is what I'm expecting the average altcoin to do from the current price, let alone from a lower price, which every coin's about to drop lower, right? What I'm expecting the average altcoin to do is see something that's around $6 to $7 trillion in market cap, which is something. So the average, not for the average coin, for the others chart, for all the coins together in the top 125, that would give us a price growth of around 25x to a 30x price growth, right? For the average altcoin, 25x to a 30x price growth for the average altcoin. That's the expectation. Ondo, the expectation is it could do a 38x, which at its maximum potential would surpass the average altcoin. And it's possible it could do that. I really wouldn't be surprised if it did. But it could also stop down here at a 9x or a 10x, which is also great. And that's not even from the current price. That's from the lows, right? This isn't even actually a fair comparison because I'm taking it from the lows. If I take it from the current price, let's just see. Let's see. Not like what your best potential is. I got to bring that back, man. I got to bring that back on there. See high to low here. You know, at the lows, you can see a 7x, or from the current price, a 7x, 8x. Maybe at the highest, you could see a 30x. Maybe at the highest, maybe you could see a 30x, where I'm expecting the average altcoin, not maybe, but likely sees a 30x to a 25x. You see what I'm saying, right? The only benefit of this thing is that it's a safe bet. It's a safe, you know, probably a safe bet. You never know. This is a little bit double topish at the moment, but I don't think if you pump more than the average altcoin here, I don't think you're gonna go to zero. I think that you're probably a top performer of the cycle, and you have been so far. So I think that you'll continue to perform well. Just in comparison to the rest of the markets, I think that you will not perform as well. Why? You have a really high market cap already. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Why would I, in a sea of cryptos that have dramatically lower market caps, ergo more potential to grow, why would I spend my time you know, investing in something like this? Why? Because it's a safe bet. It's a safe bet. If this is my first cycle and I want a coin that's going to make me money and not potentially rug pull or lose money, or something goes wrong or gets overtaken or attacked or anything like that, yeah, this is probably a good bet. But if you're wanting to see something that performs on average on par with the rest of the market, no, it's going to see, likely it sees less growth than the average coin in the market. And that's just my final thought. So I'm going to stop saying that now. I've given you my thoughts. I think that Ondo could go up a little bit from here. Likely it does go down a little bit more. We go down to 63, 64, 65 cents, somewhere in that area. And then from there, you begin your new all-time high descent. It's not done. It will make money. I very much do believe that. I'm not interested in it. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.